Welcome to Dose of DeAnn, where you'll get a little shot of what my life is like living with SMA. Did you know October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month? It's okay if you didn't. I didn't either until recently. But when I learned about it, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to tell you about some of my work history. I know a lot of people think that when you're disabled, you can't really have a job. And that's not true. I have a couple part-time jobs at the moment and a volunteer position. And I was actually working when I was in junior high. So I've had a good work ethic, and it's a great way to keep busy, occupy your time, and make a little money while you're at it. I know there's income restrictions when you have a disability, especially to keep some of the medical programs you're on. But as long as you don't go over the limits, you're good to have a job, and it's a great opportunity to enrich your life. I just want to say that don't limit yourself. If there's a job that you want and you just can't see how it's done, think about the accommodations necessary to do it, and more than likely the employer will be willing to work with you. I know my employer for accounts payable was more than happy to help me set up a home office. Here's an example of a small accommodation that I made to make my work center more usable for me. I added a cord bundler to my printer drawer with a rope on it so my service dog can help me out. Here's him in action. I'm going to have Roy open the printer drawer. Roy, tug. Yep, that's it. Release. Good job. Then I can just load paper and have him close it. Roy, push. Release. Good boy. Yeah, you did such a good job. Some of my first work experience was when I was in junior and senior high through a program called Rural Minnesota SEP. Unfortunately, I don't remember what that stands for at the moment, but I believe the program still exists and does their work. So I highly recommend, if you're in that high school, junior high age, check into different programs that will help with employment. What they did was they took a bunch of us students and we took a class regarding applications, resumes, and interviewing. And then after we completed that, they helped us find summer positions with local businesses. One of my first positions was at our local museum. I was a greeter and a tour guide. I would greet people as they came in, and I started them off on their tour of the museum. Another part-time job I had during the summer was at a nursing home in an office, and I would work answering phones, answering questions, and even working with the resident accounts. I even worked for a company that sells ski jets and snowmobiles and ATVs. Now that's not exactly right up my alley, but working in the business end, I was able to work with invoicing and purchase orders, so I was doing some data entry for them. And again, it was a great introduction to the business world, which is what I went to college for. My real job came after college, and I kind of was like, after graduation, okay, now what do I do? I turned in applications at various places, and I had some interviews, but nothing was successful. And I found the best way for me to find a job was through networking. Our neighbor knew that I was looking for a job in the business field, and she knew the company she was working for. Their gal that did the books was retiring, and she knew that I did a lot on the computer and things like that, so she recommended me for the job because they were looking to kind of update their system and the way they did things. So I did a couple interviews with the business, and they liked my ideas, and they thought they'd give me a shot. So I did their accounts payable and payroll for several years. I would go in once a week and pick up stuff, work on it at home, and then bring it back the next week. That worked really well for me. However, as my disability progressed, it was harder to get out that often, especially in the wintertime. And it got difficult to move around the paperwork and do all that. So I decided to step back, but they didn't want to lose me altogether. So they decided that I should, they requested that I stay on and do payroll. So I agreed to do that, and I can do that 100% from home. Since I had extra time on my hands, I took on volunteer work for my church doing their newsletter, compiling the newsletter and emailing it out to the patrons. And then I started doing my own vlogs, and that led me to this job with SMA News Today. I help moderate their forums, and I make these videos. How did you find your current job? Are you still looking? What challenges do you face? What accommodations do you need in your job? Please share your stories in the forums below. I think the more stories that we share, the more we can inspire each other to find a fulfilling career. That's all I have for you today. I hope everyone has a good day, and bye for now.